Most of you are more dangerous to your own future when you're winning as opposed to losing. When you're not where you want to be, you're focused, you make decisions and stick to them. You got something to prove. But when you string together a few good weeks where you're on top of your shit, that's when you're going to start to slow down. You start telling yourself that, you've earned a break. You start negotiating the habits that got you the result in the first place. And then it starts going in the other direction. When things start going right, that's when you loosen up. You start to feel safe. You start to think that because you've done the work for a couple weeks, that you have a buffer for today. But that's the most dangerous spot that you can be in. Because now you're treating a few good weeks like a finish line instead of a baseline. Think about the last time that you had a major win. Maybe you closed the deal, or you finally woke up at 5 o'clock for 7 days straight. What was the first thing that you wanted to do? For most people, you wanted to vent that energy, right? You wanted to call somebody and brag, or you wanted to casually bring up how disciplined and consistent you've been. You wanted to post something so people could tell you how inspiring you are. But the second that you do that, you turn it into something rare. You make it feel bigger than it should be. To somebody who lives like this, waking up early, staying disciplined, that's just a Tuesday. When you treat your progress like something special, you're signaling that that's not normal for you. You're telling your brain that this version of you is temporary. And then that's how you're just gonna slide right back to where you were. In the last video, we talked about your identity thermostat, okay? How your brain tries to cool you down when you get too far outside of whatever feels normal. I told you I was gonna tell you how to override that. 2 words. So what? The next time that you hit a consistent 2 or 3 weeks, you're hitting your targets, you're disciplined, you're consistent, so what? Now, our egos want to celebrate. It wants acknowledgement. It wants the attaboy, the pat on the back. But instead, so what? I did what I said I was going to do. That's the standard. That's what I follow. That's what's expected. You don't get impressed by execution. You expect it. When you say, so what? You take the emotion out of the win. You stop turning it into something special, and you start turning it into just who you are. Because the second that it feels special, it's not gonna last. Now, don't get me confused. I'm not saying that you can't appreciate it, but give yourself a window, 24 hours. You acknowledge it, you feel it, maybe you go to dinner with your wife, but after that, scoreboard goes back to 0. If you're still talking about what you did yesterday, it means that you ain't doing shit today. And you've heard of people who peaked at high school, right? Most people plateau on those prior wins. They try to live off one good moment or one good week for the next month. And they ease up because they think they built this buffer. But I'm here to tell you, there ain't no buffer. The version of you that got that result is going to require more of you, not less. Now, the change is going to happen when it stops feeling like a big deal. Most people chase that high. They want the feeling that comes with the win. But that feeling is what messes them up, because once it feels big, it also feels temporary. And you can't build your life chasing that. You have to build your life by locking in on a standard where the work feels normal. Because when the work feels normal, you stop depending on how you feel. You stop negotiating. You just do what is required. Now, take a look at your own life. Look at where you've been winning lately. Have you been looking for a pat on the back for doing what you said you were going to do? You have to stop that. The reward for doing the work is the ability to keep doing the work. Stop negotiating with your potential when things start going right. That's when you got to tighten up. You did what you were supposed to do. You don't need a reward for doing what you were supposed to do. for doing what you said you were going to do. You don't need the validation. What you need to do is do it again. Look at all your wins from this week and then say, so what? And get back to zero and do it again.